You're listening to Operator.
You are now listening to Operator. You are now listening to Operator. You are now listening to Operator.
To know the story, because the story is in the songs.
You are now listening to Operator.
You don't actually even need to know the story, because the story is in the songs and in the record. Like you just kind of, it's reaffirming to read like Joe Boyd's little writing about what she went through and how this record was made and the journey, but you just need to listen to the record and it's all there. But also, just like any good book, you can open it on any page and it still kind of blows your mind paragraph by paragraph. You can put it on shuffle on your goddamn iPod and just listen to line by line by line by line and flip out.
In the morning when I walk along and it's been raining all night, it seems the streets are wet with all the tears that I've cried when I walk along through autumn leaves that must have fallen last night. It seems the leaves are all the tears that I've cried at night. If he doesn't come back soon, the streets will never be dry. If he doesn't come back, the road sweeper will never clear away my tears. And I know I just won't sleep tonight. I'll watch the rain and hear the wind blowing all my tears down to the street. If he doesn't come back soon, the streets will never be dry. If he doesn't come back, the road sweeper will never clear away my tears. And I know I just won't sleep tonight. I'll watch the rain and hear the wind blowing all my tears down to the street. To the street. To the street. Isn't it strange? Back here again, the red brick house and all the trees. I climbed them. Nothing changed, same as before. The only thing I see is you're not Nightingale's Song in Winter. I had a man when I was young. He lived a year with me, but the year was up and that song was sung, and his wish was to be free. His wish was to be free. I was in love when I was young, and I've not been free again. That's a promised fruit when you've first begun, that ripens into pain, that ripens into pain. I had a child when I was young, the last gift that man gave. I wish that he could hold his son, and the snow in the air lie on my grave, the snow lie on my grave, and the snow lie on my grave, and the snow lie on my grave.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here after a bit of a messy start. It's been a while since I opened up the container and I kind of forgot some things, and there's been a mysterious pot investigation in the office. But I have a very special episode today. I'm doing a little special episode focusing on Vashti Bunyan, who is a very special artist who started making music in the 60s and disappeared for 30 years and came back. And she's just had an amazing story. And I watched her documentary a few weeks ago, and I've been just like really obsessed about it and just like talking about this to a lot of people. And I was like, okay, I just need to talk about this to more people that I can't see. So here we are. And I stumbled upon this because NTS actually did In Focus on her as well and shared this amazing clip and story that I didn't know, where she traveled on a horse carriage for 2 years and abandoned her music career after becoming unsuccessful. And 30 years later, her one record just became so big on the internet and was getting resold on Discogs for $3,000, and she had no idea. And that's just, I don't know, mind-boggling. And I've already influenced 2 people to watch the documentary, so if you're listening, you're interested, you should definitely watch it. You can watch it for free on Internet Archives. And yeah, I think today I just have all her music ready on my USB and snippets of interviews and little snippets that just tell her story through some fan footage online, through a documentary. And maybe I'll talk a bit more on the mic, depends if I'm feeling talkative. But yeah, so her most famous album was Just Another Diamond Day, and that's what a lot of people know her from. And that's basically an album that she made on the road in her horse carriage over 2 years. She was traveling to the island of Skye, where another famous folk musician, Donovan, who was a friend of hers, was going to start a commune. And she wrote all the songs going up there, never planned to publish them, never planned to share them with the public, but describes them as the songs that kept her going. And I think that's exactly what the album feels like. She describes it as it representing the dream of reaching that commune, and it's just really beautiful. So for now, I think I'll play some more songs and I will tell you more about her story here and there.
Rosehip November, autumn I'll remember, cold landing at our door, catch one leaf and fortune will surround you evermore. Pine tree very tall, waiting for snow to fall. Mist hangs very still, caught by dawn in castle moats around the sleeping hill. No pipe is heard,
Nobody in my family played music, but recorded music was there right from very early childhood. And I was fascinated by records. I think more than playing music, I was fascinated by records. And listened to the radio a lot for a child, I suppose. And then when I got to art school, I shared a room with somebody who had a guitar. I got a book by Bert Whedon on what the chords were, what they were called, and where to put your fingers, and it came very easily. Very simple songs. And then I realized how much I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed writing songs. It was quite hard to find my way to begin with into the people I needed for what I thought was going to be my pop music career. I was quite brave, I suppose, for 18-year-old, 19-year-old, knocking on doors, Tin Pan Alley, just finding my way from producer to manager to agent, people that I didn't know anything about. But all the time I was playing guitar and writing songs, and I had huge faith that something good was going to happen out of it all.
I love you, you love me, but somehow we're not happy. So it seems if we don't part, we'll stay in love unhappy. But if I leave you and you leave me, we'll start to want each other, and we'll think back to the love we have, and we'll think of it as happy. So it will go on till the day we realize that love needn't always mean happiness. So think of all the time to come, other things can make us happy, and with no illusions our love will live, and someday, someday, someday we'll be happy. Someday we'll be happy. Traveling towards a Hebridean sun, to build a white tower in our heads begun. The grass knows, the hills know, we all know spring has come, the good fountain flows. Each hoofball brings us nearer the land of peat and seabirds and silver sand. The grass knows, the hills know, we all know spring has come, the good fountain flows. I love coming home from far across the sea. I pick my little wee wifey up and set her on my knee. See how my eldest this boy has grown whilst I've been away. See, here's a boat I've whittled for thee, specially for thee. I thought of you every day. I love coming home from far across the sea, and taking up my walking cane and passing through the trees. I wander on the hillside, the doggy at my heel. The bracken waves are welcome to me. Where have you been? We've missed you a great deal. I love coming home from far across the sea. I pick my little wee wifey up and set her on my knee. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. There was a man when I was young, he lived a year with me, but the year was up and that song was sung, and his wish was to be free. His wish was to be free. I was in love when I was young, and I've not been free again. That's a promised fruit when you first begun, that ripens into pain, that ripens into pain. I had a child when I was young, the last gift that man gave. I wish that he could hold his son, and the snow in the air lie on my grave. The snow lie on my grave, and the snow lie on my grave, and the snow lie on my grave.
So when Vashti just started making music, she just wrote her own songs, and she was pretty much set on becoming a musician, and she dropped out of art school. And she knocked on every door and tried to find someone, and eventually she got offered a deal to release a record, but she couldn't, basically on the A side, she couldn't put on her own songs. Instead, she got a song to perform written by Mick Jagger and someone else who I forgot, but that doesn't matter. But at the time, she wanted to be a pop star, which is very different from what you just heard, obviously. And they gave her a really poppy song to sing. And on the B-side, she was allowed to put her own songs on. And that record just flopped and nothing came out of it ever. And she was crushed. And then she just took on the road. Her dad kicked her out, and she was living in the woods behind her art school with this guy she met. Eventually, they got kicked out of these woods because they belonged to the Bank of England, and they found a cart and decided to burn all their belongings and to just go, which is quite amazing and truly like a 60s occurrence. But I'm going to play the song now called Some Things Just Stick in Your Mind, which was her first ever released song, and I think she was 18 at the time. She's 17 now, still alive, still kicking, still doing interviews and all, which is also so cool. But yeah, Some Things Just Stick in Your Mind.
Sky turn grey every night, sunrise again in time. Why do you think of the first love you had? Some things just stick in your mind. Why does the rain fall down on the earth? A child, some things just stick in your mind. Baby, baby, it's late and you'd better go. It's after 3.
Honey, please have a heart. Just look at that snow. Have pity on me. I can hear that north wind blowing, and the fire is oh so warm. Well, I know you should be going, but how can I send you out in that storm?
Baby, baby, I know if you wanted to, you'd brave the snow.
But I haven't been well, I might catch the flu, or a cold in my nose. Let's struggle close together, while the whole world turns to ice. Kiss the victims of the weather, sending you home now just wouldn't be nice. Baby, it's cold out there, and it's getting cold. Baby, it's cold out there, getting colder. Matter of fact, better it's the coldest night of the year. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, why not?
Baby, it's cold out there, and it's getting baby, it's cold out there, getting colder. Matter of fact, better cuddle up here. It's the coldest night. 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 It's the coldest
So if you're familiar, I mean, if you've been listening her original songs, which is just miles different. And I feel like this is almost so referential for its time, like the 60s, the like kind of Beatle-esque sound, the very strong instrumental, the very big presence, the very poppy sounds, obviously, which is just like so far off what she ended up growing into. And in interviews, she often says that she felt like the music she was making at the time that got released from Just Another Diamond Day just didn't fit the time it was released in. It didn't fit like a certain genre that was there. And a lot of people consider her music folk, which to a certain extent it is, but it was never meant to be folk. But I guess when you go to the nature of folk, it's just people singing stories, and it's kind of like ear to mouth tales, and that's the origin of folk. So maybe in its essence, she was just like actually what folk is, but just not what folk meant musically at that time. And she was kind of branded as a folkie when Just Another Diamond Day came out, and she really denied that, and she really didn't want that, which is very interesting, because in the end I think she was just telling her own stories and kind of coming from a place of like deep vulnerability and being authentic, and then just being put in another box just kind of didn't feel right to her. But yeah, kind of crazy to like think that that's where she started. Like for me, I don't know, her music really matters a lot to me, and like it has for a while. So like it was kind of mind blowing to hear where she came from. And also she did release Some Things Just Stick in Your Mind as like a whole album, and like loads of unreleased songs and demos, which I've been also playing here and there, of songs that she would never think of showing people before.
Traveling north to find you. Train was beating the wind in my eyes. Don't even know what I'll say when I find you. Call out your name, love, don't be surprised. many months and so long since I've met you. Don't even know what I'll find when I get to you. But suddenly now I know where I belong. It's many hundred miles and it won't be long. It won't be long. It won't be long. It won't be long. Nothing at all in my head to say to you. Only the beat of the train I'm on. Nothing I've learned all my life on the way to you. Only our love that's over and gone. It's so many miles and so long since I've met you. Don't even know what I'll find when I get to you. But suddenly now I know where I belong. It's many hundred miles and it won't be long. It won't be long. It won't be long. It won't be long.
The reel-to-reel recorder that I discovered, the old tapes that were put onto my newest album called Some Things Just Stick in Your Mind. All the tapes that people give me wherever I go, I really try to listen to them all. My first single. This is how much I cared about it. My lovely old guitars that I'm so proud of. I have a new album that's about to come out. It's called Some Things Just Stick in Your Mind. And the reason I put together this collection was to show that before I made the album called Just Another Diamond Day, I was actually a pop singer. And Just Another Diamond Day has been thought of as a folk record, and so I'm always called a folk singer. The things I did before were nothing to do with folk at all. They were, I think, as unfolk as they can be, and so that's why I put together this new album. And some people might think it's new songs, but it's very old songs written when I was 18 and 19, most of them. The songs on this new album, Some Things Just Stick in Your Mind, I hadn't heard for all of those years, and in fact I had left everything behind, all the old cuttings, all the photographs, all the old acetate demos like this that I had. I left in my brother's shed when I went off travelling. And then a few years ago he sent me a box full of tapes, of these kinds of tapes. And again I never listened to them because I didn't have anything to play them on. But this April I borrowed this machine here. And that's when I found the tape that I'd made in 1964, which I hadn't heard from that day to this. What I'm quite proud of with the old songs is that they were not affected in any way, because I wasn't really having any idea that they would be recorded, especially a song like 17 Pink Sugar Elephants. I never ever wanted that out in the world. My brother would say, but it's a great song, you should do it again, you should record it and put it out as a single. And no, and I don't want you to ever play it to anybody either. And yet here I am, I'm singing it.
I saw 17 pink sugar elephants sitting under a chestnut tree. I said good morning, pink sugar elephants, but they wouldn't speak to me. Each had 2 eyes, but they couldn't see me there. Each had 4 legs, but they couldn't go anywhere. And so we just sat that early autumn wouldn't he speak to me? But he was a factory-made pink sugar elephant, given to children for treats after tea. He had 2 eyes, but he couldn't see me there. He had 4 legs, but he couldn't go anywhere. So we just sat that early autumn morning, sun not yet risen, the magic everywhere. La 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 la, la 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 la, la da dum da.
What I did back then was maybe out of step with what was certainly with what was happening musically then, because everything was moving so fast. And I think that my music missed its little window of opportunity, maybe. And if people like Devendra Banhart and Joanna Newsom and Animal Collective and Piano Magic and all the people that I've worked with this last few years, if they had been around back then, I'd have had a much better time musically. And I think I was a pretty solitary person, and it would have been a lot more fun around Devendra, that's for sure.
If in winter. If in winter he should change and leave me, I'd let him go and learn to do without him. Oh, I'd have 100 lovers and my heart would not be broken. And all the lies he'd spoken, I'd whisper to the others. Oh, it's winter now and he has changed and left me. I let him go and now I am without him. I don't want 100 lovers and my heart, it is so broken. And all the lies he's spoken, I whisper to myself. You say that you'll always love me, that you'll never leave me blue. Don't you know that that's all fallacy? Don't you know it's not true? Ooh, ooh. You may want the love they talk about, but it isn't like they say. You will find the calm tomorrow. You won't feel this way. When you say that you're in love with me, do you really know what you mean? Or are you saying it because you've heard of it? Or because of something you've seen? Oh, don't believe that love brings happiness. Gone tomorrow, here today. Love involves so much unhappiness. Don't believe what they say. When you say that you're in love with me, do you really know what you mean? Or are you saying it because you've heard of it? Or because of something you've seen? Oh, don't believe that love brings happiness. Gone tomorrow, here today. Love involves so much unhappiness. Don't believe what they say. Don't believe what they say. Don't believe what they say. I knew. don't say what you're gonna say, I know. Don't expect me to cry, don't even say goodbye. And don't say lies like that, you know, I know. And don't tell me I'm just a kid, I know. And how you loved the things we did, I know. Don't say that it's a shame and that life's just a game. Just pack your case and turn your face and go. 'Cause I am not the same when you're not with me. Take away the dam and I will flow. And don't tell me that flowers must die, I know. And that the cup runs dry sometimes, I know. But I have drunk my fill and quite fulfilled my will. And now there's nothing left to spill or show. Oh darling, I'm not the same without you. You just light the fuse and I will blow. All you have to do, my love, is go.
They were looking for people who'd look good in a ball gown, and I obviously wasn't going to. And my songs were very quiet. And to find the right sort of people to even listen to them was not easy.
I'd like to walk around in your mind someday. I'd like to walk all over the things you say to me. I'd like to run and jump on your solitude. I'd like to rearrange your attitude to me. You say you just want peace and to never hurt anyone. You see the end before the beginning has ever begun. I would disturb your easy tranquility. I'd turn away the sad impossibility of your smile. I'd sit there in the sun of the things I like about you. I'd sing my songs and find out just what they mean to you. But most of all, I'd like you to be unaware. And I'd just wander away, trailing palm leaves behind me, so you don't even know that I've been there.
Suddenly just went nothing, completely nothing. And I was left spinning. I didn't know what was happening to me. I fell into terrible gloom and depression and got quite ill. And then I met Robert Lewis. He was hitchhiking and picked him up. And ended up throwing everything away, really. My family, the music, everything. And taking to the road with the horse and cart.
Peaks of glass with you and walked a world of brass with you and gladly left the glaring streets to share a bed of grass with you. You made the elder burn for me and cut Harvey famous muur gaan na maten hula hjorna Kjøpvian lumaga surita Son gulas kjolna klasa I rode the dark green deep with you and drove our dreams like sheep with you and now my love please let me cross brown boundaries of sleep with you. The hound bays, the sheep graze. I'm counting the boats in the bay. As they float they seem to say, I'm counting the waves, I'm counting the waves. The men in the boats they wave to their wives and say, I'm counting the hours, counting the hours, counting the hours in the day. I'm counting the gulls that sit on the waves surrounding the boats in the bay. I'm counting the miles till we're there, where the sun and the rain and the snow fall on the seeds and make them grow, fall on the rocks and make them crack into pebbles and into sand, which is where I like to stand. The hound pays, the sheep graze. I'm counting the boats in the bay. As they float they seem to say, I'm counting the waves, I'm counting the waves. The men in the boats they wave to their wives and say, I'm counting the hours, counting the hours, counting the hours in the day. I'm counting the gulls that sit on the waves surrounding the boats in the bay, counting the miles till we're there, where the sun and the rain and the snow fall on the seeds and make them grow, fall on the rocks and make them crack into pebbles and into sand, which is where I like to stand.
But yeah, when my father, well, he didn't exactly throw me out, but he kind of made it clear that I had to find some other way of living. I thought, well, I've got to find a way of putting a roof over my head. I didn't want to get a job in order to do that, so I thought, well, I just have to do without a roof.
I wish I had a window over the bay and a black horse grazing on the green all day. I wish I had a well to draw my water from and a warm log fire for when the summer is gone. I wish I had a window over the bay and a flock of white sheep to watch from where I lay. I wish I had a little boat bobbing on the deep and a big wooden table all laid out for tea. I wish I had a window over the bay and a dreamy-eyed cow to fill my milking pail. I wish I had a cockerel to raise me at dawn and a little bed to sleep in when the curtain
waiting for John to come and pick us up, we had thought to ourselves, the only way out of this situation we're in is to have a house on wheels. And then when we saw through this gap in the fence an old cart, broken down, peeling paint, one wheel down, half a shaft, just right. And just in the corner there was this beautiful big traveller's wagon, cut glass windows, chrome everywhere, the most beautiful creature. And this guy was standing at the door, sort of leaning on the half door. Just what you would think an old traveller would look like. And we said, do you want to sell your cart? And he just sucked on his pint and he just said, do you want a horse? And that's when the ideas all came together.
Jog along Bess, hop along May, squeak along Blue, it's a walk along day. It's a long road and weary are we. Bubble on kettle and make us all some tea. Once there was a gypsy man selling flowers from a baker's van. Best she pulled him round the town, pulled her wagon all old and brown, till one day we took her away, painted her wagon bright and gay. Now she finds she's travelling north, no more wandering back and forth. Jog along Bess, hop along May, squeak along Blue, it's a walk along day. It's a long road and weary are we. Bubble on kettle and make us all some tea. Once there was an Afghan hound, loved by no one and pushed around, tied up in a stable yard, tangled and timid and howling hard, till one day we took her away. We called her Magog, shortened to May. She had her paw, made it sore, now she runs on 3 legs instead of 4. Jog along Bess, hop along May, squeak along Blue, it's a walk along day. It's a long road and weary are we. Bubble on kettle and make us all some tea. There lived a dog in London town, with one ear up and the other ear down. The neighbours said he mustn't bark, the only cross he knew was in Hyde Park. Till one day we took him away. Now Blue bounces through fields of hay, but he sits and squeals like a squeaky wheel when the wheels are rolling. That's how he feels. Jog along Bess, hop along May, squeak along Blue, it's a walk along day. It's a long road and weary are we. Bubble on kettle and make us all some tea. Little green wagon in a deep blue sky, wheels like dandelions passing by, with a picture by Sam, a painting by John, and a bonny black horse to lead you along. Lucky green wagon, you were raggedy brown, now there is red at the hem of your gown. And we brought you a pumpkin, brought you a mouse, we wished very hard and you gave us a house. Jog along Bess, hop along May, squeak along Blue, it's a walk along day. It's a long day and weary are we. Move along kettle and make some tea, make some tea.
What I was looking for all around me all the time were people who could tell me what it used to be like when there were just horses on the road, when people had to make do with what was to hand. and just to get back to something, that made sense. And then start again from there, and I guess that's what I did.
Glowworms show the path we have to tread. Dreamers, we should be asleep in bed, moving slowly through the springtime air, holding moments in the depth of care, holding moments in the depth of care. Whisper fairy stories till they're real. Wonder how the night could make us feel. Loving, living more with love to stay. Long past sadness that was in our way. Long past sadness that was in our way. Dawn time mist begins reflecting light. Waking sun will soon forget our night. Love me through the day and I'll with you go into summer and the next year's snow. Into summer and the next year's snow.
So in these past few songs, I think you can really hear that she sings about her life and her dog and the horse that they have and just about her environment. And it just makes it so simple, but also I think so timeless, because it's just about someone's life that also seems so fantastical. Can you imagine just finding a horse cart and traveling for 2 years to a place that you don't even know? That's wild to me, and it wasn't even that long ago. But also when the album came out, a lot of people spoke about her music as quite childish, and a lot of people thought that it was actually like children lullabies, and that really broke her heart, because it was just her life, and for her it was quite serious, obviously, because it's everything she's been through. And she also in the documentary she talks about how hard it is and how hard it was, and they were living with 2 pounds a day and just eating rice and cabbages, and you travel across so many towns, and some people are so open and take you in so easily, and some people just reject you and kick you out, and you're essentially relying on the kindness of strangers to survive. And I think, you experience a lot of hardships through that. But I think there's a sort of naivety that ties the story and the songs together, and as she says it herself, the dream of reaching that place and being happy and getting there. And I think that's also why this record is very relevant today, and why it became so relevant in the 2000s again, because she made this in the optics of, in the 60s, everything was changing so much, so many technological changes were happening, and she felt like everything was slipping away, and she just wanted to go back to something real. And I think in the millennium, a lot of people felt that, and I know I feel that right now, today. And I think that's why this is still very important, just to be able to turn back to something that feels very real. And also my opening sequence is Devendra Banhart speaking about her music in the documentary, and I really love the way that he speaks about her music because I feel like he really gets it. And I think I'll close with another sequence by him because he just puts it so beautifully. But he says that you don't even have to know her story to know her story, you know what I mean? Because everything is so clear in the songs. And I don't think I realized that before I knew about her story, but looking back, I'm like, yes, that's why I was so drawn to her, and I think that's why so many people are still drawn to her.
In a lily pond I lay all upon a summer's day. Then I chased a dragonfly all across an ancient sky, falling with 1,000 stars down the Milky Way to Mars, back again in time for day. In a lily pond I lay, la 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 la. The only thing he said to me was, young lady, I love thee. La 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 la. In a lily pond I lay all upon a summer's day. Then I chased a dragonfly all across an ancient sky, falling with 1,000 stars down the Milky Way to Mars, back again in time for day. In a lily pond I lay.
All we could do was laugh, really. But the uncle in Bradnett, the one who had lived here with my grandparents, he had suffered a fair bit of disapproval himself in his life, so he understood. He really understood. And he smiled and he laughed and he thought what we were doing was great. And he said, "Oh, it's all freedom, innit, Vashti?" So I really loved him.
The Rainbow River is a loving stream down in a valley by a mountain that is pine tree tall. The Rainbow River has a small boy fishing with a worm and a jam jar by the waterfall. Don't make a sound, don't disturb the ground. The biggest fish you ever saw is around, and the Rainbow River gives a rainbow fish as one small boy goes running proudly to his mother's call. The stone-built farmhouse is a rough stone cottage hiding close against the hillside up a winding track. The stone-built farmhouse has a fair-haired farmer wearing wooden shoes and building up a new haystack. Run in the door, stand on the stone floor. The oven opens, there's the biggest loaf you ever saw, and the stone-built farmhouse house gives a good warm welcome as he sits down in his own chair with a Windsor back. The magpie meadow is a glowing evening colour. Sun is setting quietly and the boy is tired. The magpie meadow has a sparrow hawk who hovers hanging on the wind, praying eagle-eyed. Sit by the lantern, watch as the years turn, slowly bringing truth for every child to learn. And the magpie meadow darkens gently, blue now as the family sit, their faces lit by ember fire.
We don't exactly have an aim. We want to set up a croft, a community, but we want to keep travelling as well. We're going to breed horses, breed dogs, people.
Morris Snail and Timothy Grub, Swanee and Blue and Emily Grub, decided one day to go into the wood and build them a house and live there if they could. And they stayed there a while in the trees and the rain, till one day two blue men said, "You're all insane, and to please not come here again." They had a green car called Happiness Runs. Friday comes and happiness runs out of petrol, and everyone gets out to push, and suddenly see through a gap in the bush a real caravan just like the one in their dreams. The gypsy doesn't want it, for nowadays it seems his home stays in one place and gleams. He told them that he had a horse.
But every time I got onto a motorbike, I had a policeman breathing down my neck. Every time I got into a car, the same kind of thing. With this, we have no tax, no insurance, no law.
He opened the door and they all peered within, and there lying in straw was a horse black as night, with a star on her forehead and eyes full of light, and they all fell in love at first sight. They thought and they thought about having Black Bess. Timothy planted some mustard and cress. They lived in a cupboard and made it their home, and lay there and dreamed of the days when they'd roam up and down all the hills of the north countryside, with the dogs eating buttercups on the wayside, and they'd wave all the cities goodbye. Da, 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 da,
So they came to supper that night, and afterwards, as always I did, I sang some songs. And the guy said, "Would you like to come to Holland and do a concert tour over the Christmas holiday?" And I thought, well, although I'd given up any thought of ever doing anything with music, we were very, very broke, and the thought was just wonderful to go to Holland for Christmas. And he would pay for everything and arrange all our tickets and everything. It just seemed like a magic opportunity, and we did do that. We did go to Holland and Belgium.
Come wind, come rain, we're off again. Our muddy boots plod down the lane. The snow has snowed, now the grass has grown, and it's time that we were on the road. The mare is shod, the miles untrod between us and the land of God. We're on our way, and every day is another 10 miles and an armful of hay. Hey ho, the wind and the rain, it's another 10 miles and a bucket of grain. La 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 da 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 da. Come wind, come rain, we're off again. Our muddy boots plod down the lane. The snow has snowed, the grass has grown, and it's time that we were on the road. Hey ho, the wind and the rain, the passers by wave their arms and grin. La 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 da 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 da. Dun da 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 dun da 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 da. La 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 da 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 da.
Turned out to be youth clubs and bars. We ran off in the end. We couldn't bear it any longer. But in the meantime, we'd met Daryl Adams above one of the pubs where he was living in Ghent, and he had told me. Well, I had sung him some songs, and he told me that I mustn't hide my light, that I mustn't do what I'd done, which was to completely give up on music. And he said, you have to keep going, you have to let people hear your songs. And on the way back from that trip, on our way back up here in London, I stayed with a friend, Christopher Sykes, who knew Joe Boyd, and said, why don't you give him a call? And so I did, and I went to see Joe, and I sang him some of the songs that I'd written here, like Rose Hip November and Swallow Song that I wrote right here. And he said that he would like to make an album, a document of the journey, once we'd finished it. Because here we were only halfway through, we were only halfway to Skye.
Find my heart again. Ever since we said goodbye, I haven't known what to do, 'cause I haven't wanted to try to find myself someone new, 'cause I still want to be with you. How can I give myself to somebody else yet? So I'll just stay alone until I get over you and the love we knew, and I find my heart again. I know it wouldn't be fair to try to love someone new, 'cause I'd only want you to be there and make believe he was miss you, 'cause I still want to be with you. How can I give myself to somebody else yet? So I'll just stay alone until I get over you and the love we knew, and I find my heart again. Find my heart again. Find my heart again.
So yes, Vashti Bunyan's only tour when in the 60s, when she was actually writing Just on a Diamond Day, was in the Netherlands. And I found that very funny when I was watching the documentary. I was like, what? And actually, the picture that's the cover of my operator show is a hand-drawn poster that they show in the documentary of one of the concerts she was performing, and it says like Gerst Market on it. And it's just so bizarre. Yeah, insane. And then she never performed again for 30 years. Crazy.
That was the other big thing that happened while we were living here, was that my mother died. And it felt like such a terrible waste of her. And it took me a long time to get over it, but like I said before, having so much to do, out on the road with a horse and a cart and a couple of crazy dogs and an even crazier boyfriend. Sorry, Robert. Took my mind off it a lot. Gave me something to focus on. It wasn't just missing my mother, but I still do. It was just so unfair. And now that I'm older than she was when she died, I feel that I've got this whole extra bit. And that I must really make the most of the bit that she doesn't have.
And there's a sunset brimming over the sky, and there's a swallow teaching its young how to fly. Upon high, see how fast the summer passes by. And there's an oak leaf turning green into brown, and there's a pine so proud of her
I think I didn't stand up for myself nearly enough, and even when we came to recording, I didn't. There were things that I wanted to do that I didn't do. There were things I didn't want to do that we did. But I was so used to that, you know, with my recording experience was that I just turned up, sang and went away again. And I really wished for some more input. Diamond Day wasn't meant to be a folk record, you know, and probably left to my own devices, it would have been a much more melancholy record than it turned out. I think now it's a wonderful picture of the time it was made in and the other musicians that were working at that time, and also it's representative of Joe at the time. I don't think it's necessarily representative of me at the time, although it looks it from here. It looks like the story, it looks like the hills. It looks like the rivers and the brackens and the beautiful sea. And it sounds like all of those things. But for me at the time, I wasn't living in the hills and the beautiful sea, I was living in my head.
Last night I dreamt that I jumped in the sea, wearing a pale blue floating dancing dress. I wanted you to rescue me. Last night I dreamt that you were looking down. I twisted and twirled and held my skirt out like a cow. I could see you frown at me. And then I saw that all you saw was a Portuguese man of war. Then I saw that all you saw was a Portuguese war. Last night I dreamt that I drowned in the sea, wearing your flag and going down and down and down. I've come to rise,
And that's where the photograph that's on the front of Diamond Day was taken. And John painted the painting representing the rest of the house and the animals. We had cows here and we had sheep here, and we had my neighbour's daughter playing the fiddle, and my neighbour, my wonderful 83-year-old neighbour who lived in that Nissan hut there, who was our best friend. They were all here. I've got the photograph of them all here, and that was going to be the cover. But it was just too real. And Diamond Day had become such a fantasy anyway. The songs represented the dream. They didn't represent the reality at all. And so it seemed better to have the painting of the animals not at all like they were. The Afghan hound became almost a Labrador, and the little Shetland sheepdog became his master's voice type collie. And Bess was quite real, but we never had a cow. We never had a sheep.
Before the dawn. Go before the dawn starts a breaking, and my eyes show the sun how much I cried. Go before my arms start the reeking, to have you once again right by my side. The more you stay, the more you remind me my love for you was never meant to be. Make me leave these memories behind me, so I can let my loneliness go free. Thought I'd never want to be apart from you. All I ever got was a broken heart from you. Go on your way, I'll forget you. Don't lie to me for one wording day. I'll believe I never even met you. I know we'll both be happier that way. Thought I'd never want to be apart from you. All I ever got was a broken heart from you. Go on your way, I'll forget you. Don't lie to me for one wording day. I'll believe I never even met you. I know we'll both be happier that way.
And I think we weren't aware at the time, we weren't aware, wow, this is an amazing thing we're doing. We were just doing it, we were too busy doing it. I think we had so little self-awareness.
Once I had a child, he was wilder than moonlight. He could do it all, like he'd been here before. Once I had a child, she was smiling like sunshine. She could see it all, like she'd been here
And it was when we got there that we realised that we weren't going to be able to stay there, that we couldn't bring the wagon there. And that's the bit that I didn't remember. That there wasn't any room for the wagon or the horse. We knew straight away that we weren't going to be able to stay and that we'd come all this way. And I do remember it being a funny kind of a floaty feeling that we had the stream ahead of us all the time. But on the other hand, we had become so strong and we had become so different to everybody else just from our experiences along the road. We had become travellers. And so it didn't really, I don't remember being that upset about having to carry on. I thought, well, we just go on until we find it.
So, as you heard from the previous snippet, they ended up not being able to join Donovan's commune because there was no space for them left. So they just kept going north and more north, and ended up in this tiny town in the north of a Scottish island, and stayed there for a while and bought a tiny shack with £150 that they got from an accident settlement. And then that's where the Diamond Day cover was taken. But eventually Vashti got pregnant there, and she couldn't stay there because there was no floor in the house or electricity or anything like that. So they moved back to the city. And that's also when she went back to London to record the record, because their journey was done.
When we were living in the wagon and the horses, we never did it as a gesture, to say, come on everybody, we don't need cars, let everybody just get in a horse and cart. And when we got that car, we lost so many friends because they all seemed to be using us as some kind of, a symbol that it can be done, some kind of freedom. They didn't want to do it themselves, they didn't want to go out and get cold and muddy. But when we were doing it, everybody was happy. When we stopped doing it, a lot of people got very sad. And one lady said how the mighty have fallen when she saw the car and the wagon in the garage. obviously the children and what they want becomes more and more important. And, well, yes, it has changed. In that I used to think that I had to do things for the children to make their lives much better than mine had been. And, not that mine was in any way bad, but to give them something that I thought I had been missing. But as they get bigger, I realise that I couldn't sort of hold them in or hold them away from the world as it is. That they've got to learn to live in it. I've got to teach them and me to live in the world as it is now, and not how I think it should be. Yes.
miserabilist or an intensely personal songwriter who's got lots of demons. I think it's everyday life is what she writes about, and every day we all feel miserable and every day we all feel elated, and I think that's what she does so well. Very, very simply put, she just writes what we feel as human beings.
I guess the thing that was amazing about it was the sort of, you do think, well, actually life is quite long. Yeah, it's long. You can be, you can take 30 years off and do something else and come back. There's something very heartening about that. Rather than to be in a hurry all the time. What have I done this year? What have I done this month? How about take 30 years off and do something else? That's good.
So after Diamond Day, 30 years later, her album became big again and she got offered other deals to make more records. So she made 2 albums since, one in 2005 and one in 2014, that just got re-released a few days ago as an extended version. I was playing. It's just like demos and some one live version, which I played some stuff of. But what I love the most also about the last album is that she decided to produce everything herself, and she even applied to a technical college to learn production, and they rejected her because she was too old. But what I love about Vashti the most is that I think it's just like a story about resilience and how strong she was. And I think there's a pretty big bias on sensitivity and fragility and it being weak, but I think for me, like, this whole story is about a certain resilience in it. And yeah, I leave it here. I'll close it with one song and one snippet, and I'd like to thank everybody who listened today. This this show meant a lot to me, and yeah, thanks for being here.
Just another diamond day, just a blade of grass, just another bale of hay, and the horses pass. La 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 la. La 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 la. Just another field to plow.
That it was the Dark Ages now. Then I realized that it's always been the Dark Ages. The worse the world gets and the uglier it gets, the more people want to retreat into a world that they've created or just the world that they dream about daily. And listening to Vashti's music takes you to that place where you've already tried to be part of something, but it's so ugly and doesn't even want anything to do with you, or just kind of kicks you in the face, that you just want to retreat and do your own thing within it. And just listening to her music can take you to that place that might not even, that only exists within you, I guess. It's not actually a physical place. I mean, in the words of Jesus, right? The beauty of heaven is within. And that's exactly where her record resides. And like in Indian, the word music just translates to that which breaks the silence. And her record swims between that world of silence and sound. It exists in this other holy place, and it is a holy record. I believe it's a holy record.
You are now listening to Operator.